well, let's see, Simba and Hannah, they're back at it again. So I don't know if she's already pregnant or what. But I guess I'll just have me some kitty babies. Right, Hannah? I'll have me some kitty babies. Tora's not fixed either, but she hasn't been in heat in probably 6 months. And then it's been 6 months since Hannah's been in heat. And probably Tora too. And so that's why I thought it looked like it looked like Simba was already neutered, because, I don't know, it just looked kind of small back there. But I don't think he is. I'm pretty sure he's not. But yeah, I think I'm gonna take him to this place where they only charge $45. Instead of paying $100, I may as well. Right, Simba? Right, Bubby? Man, like, I've been getting awesome, like, tons of awesome lucid dreams. Well, actually, OBE, virtual reality lucid dreams. Like, tons. Such a blast. And, but this morning I had another one. I had a really good one yesterday. And, well, I wrote them down, so, keywords, so it'll trigger in my brain the memory of everything. But, the one this morning, I guess it's, you know, kind of fresh in my head. But it was a blast, man. But there was one part that was, like, really, really kind of scary. Oh, yeah, and, when was it? Yeah, that was this morning, but, well, I'll talk about the other thing in for the other experience, but I think, when the aliens come around or whatever, or they're trying to, like, make me smell these weird medicines kind of smells, well, now I'm getting good at waking up or something, because I was about, or maybe they were, like, I don't know why they keep, I don't know if that means they're lurking around or what, but they keep, like, making this kind of medicine kind of smell. Like, I was sitting here the other day when I was still watching Game of Thrones, and I smelled it. And so anyway, but this time I woke up really fast because they were trying to put some freaking smell in my face again. And it smelled like some kind of medicine, like anesthesia or whatever. And so I woke up this morning. I don't know why they're doing that. Or if they're, I don't know. So maybe that's why they gave me the lucid dream, and then they tampered with me maybe after the lucid dream, or during the lucid dream or whatever. But like I said, sometimes I can smell it. Goddamn. Sometimes I can smell it when I'm not even, you know, sleeping or anything. But I don't know why they're putting off that smell or whatever, or they're creating that smell. Oh, they're probably giving me tests, because they've been putting a lot of smells in my scenarios. Yeah, maybe they're just trying to test me or something. But it's fucking gross. I told them only give me, like, fucking blueberry, watermelon, strawberry. Oh, they have given me this really hardcore lemon smell, or what? No, orange smell back when I was in Kansas City. So that was kind of cool. But I'm not crazy about orange and lemon. Okay, so this morning, like, okay, this was OBE-VR, lucid dream. Oh yeah, and it totally felt like I was in a different dimension, and like, I can still, like, feel it, like, right now. I can still kind of, like, I feel like I can fade back into that scenario or something. It's so cool. The feeling, or the energy of it was, like, so cool. Totally felt like I was in a different dimension. And, so basically I was in, I gotta try to remember all this. Oh yeah. Okay, so basically I was in Branson. You know, I was in Branson. And, okay, so it started off, well, shit, man, tell the truth. I can't remember exactly where it started. See, that's the problem with some of these lucid dreams. I hate it when I can't, they're so long, and sometimes, you know, I can't, I don't really know the exact, I mean, I can't remember the exact beginning, and then from, you know, chronological order all the way to the end, but sometimes I can. So anyway, so basically I was walking around in Branson, Missouri, in a parking lot in front of near a big grocery store, and near this other store, and okay, see, I can't remember what kind of store that was, but it was like, I don't know, it just seemed to have normal stuff in it, like clothes and a bunch of stuff, like cleaning stuff, clothes, but it wasn't a grocery store. Okay, so it started off like I was in a parking lot in front of those, at least that's where I think it started. Like that was the beginning. And okay, so when I looked off at the grocery store, I was like, wow, I want to. Okay, no, for whatever reason, now I don't know why. I'm trying to remember why we traveled there. Let's see. Well, actually, I mean, I traveled there like alone, but that part of it wasn't in the scenario. But I can't remember quite why. The aliens didn't really tell me that, but it started off in Branson, and so when I looked at the grocery store not down the street, the grocery store in that same center, I looked up and it had this name, and I can't remember the name, but it had this weird name, like it was like Millie's or something like that, Millys, or like no, it wasn't Ruby's, but it was like Millie's or Hilly's or something like that. And I knew it was like a grocery store that wasn't around here, and I was like, wow, I'm gonna try to go in that store to see if they have anything different. You know, because some grocery stores may have different stuff than other grocery stores, and I was thinking all that in the scenario. But like for whatever reason, I knew that it closed at 9 o'clock, and the lights were still on when I first looked down there, and I was like standing in front of the grocery store, and not in front of it, cockeyed, because I was standing in front of the other smaller store that my sister walked in. Okay, so basically when I looked down at the grocery store, I saw the lights on, and then and I started looking in front of the other store, and so it must have been like 8 o'clock at night, but the aliens didn't really, yeah, I mean, they didn't really tell me what time it was, but it would have, oh my god, it would have been so, that was so, like, right, like, it would have been around 8 o'clock at night, because by 9 o'clock it was already dark outside, and that's when I started driving. I was trying to figure out how to get back home, and okay, so anyway, so I was standing in front of the smaller store, and all of a sudden, so this was about 8 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden my sister, and I saw like the back of her hair and everything, and it looked like my sister, except in the scenario her hair was a little blonder, and she walked, she like la 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 started walking into that store, and then I followed her into the store, and then she tells me, she says, well, I moved here now to Branson, and I was like, really? And I started having these thoughts like, did you sell your house? And I started having those thoughts. And but anyway, she said she moved there and she loved it. And she said, okay, so like, well, like part of my mom was kind of in the scenario, but I didn't ever actually see her or whatever. And anyway, so because I had a vision of like my mom, like when I was standing there in the store, and then there was like a piece of, like my sister showed me a piece of paper, and she said that she was, you know, like my mom was like banishing her or whatever from the family or whatever. And yeah, like she was banishing her from the family. That's what my, you know, like my, that's what my sister said. And she showed me like you know, like the piece of paper. And then I kind of had a vision of my mom and stuff, and I looked at the piece of paper, and like my mom had written down like 4 or 5 things. But one of them was she had to move away from the city. Away from the city that she normally lived in. So that's why she moved to Branson. The aliens have a great sense of humor. because I wouldn't have came up with all this stuff. And but there was a list of 4 other things, and I can't remember what it said. But I was looking at the piece of paper, and one of them said she had to move away from that, the town that we lived in now. So that's why she moved to Branson. And I was like kind of sad, because I was like, well, I probably won't see you very much, and blah, 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 blah. Well, I can't remember if I said that, but I was thinking that. And that she would probably never come to this town very often or whatever. And, and yeah, and she was like really, really happy that, she said she was happy living there, and she found a place to live. And like I said, I had these thoughts like, well, what did you do with your other house? But I didn't ask her, but I had these thoughts. Okay, so after that part, I went out of the store, I walked out of the store, and it was already dark, and I looked down at that grocery store, and the lights were off. And so I did not have time to go in it, because it was already closed. It was closed, so it closed at 9 o'clock. Oh, shit. I hope I don't forget anything. Okay, shit. Okay. I don't think I will. I remember most everything, but there was another part of the scenario, too. And it was a part of it, but just kind of some haphazard stuff. And, yeah, so, okay, I'm trying to get this. Yeah, so, yeah, it's okay, and so then, okay, it's coming back to me now. Then, now, I don't know exactly where this Humane Society was, but I ended up walking into, after I had the experience with my sister, I walked into the Branson Humane Society type of place. This fucking thing. Okay, let's see. Yeah, and okay, so as I walked into the Humane Society, that's when I started interacting with some of the workers. There were like 4 or 5 people walking around, but I interacted with like 2 of the workers. And I was trying to ask them, how do I get back home? Or how do I go driving and get back home? Because apparently, I drove to Branson, but that wasn't part of the scenario. Like, I drove there, but, the aliens didn't make it part of the scenario. So then, I asked, they were telling me, oh, you go down here and you get on like, they were saying like, you get on like 71 East or something like that. And I was like trying to think in my head, okay, what's East and West and blah, 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 blah. But that's what they were trying, they said something like that, 71 East or something like that. And so, but there was, I was in the Humane Society for quite a while. And this is kind of funny too. Okay, right in the middle of the floor, there were like, 4 or 5, cages. And one of the cages did have an odd looking turtle in it. And the other cages had this weird animal with a funny name. And I wish I could remember the name of the animal. But it was a name that did not exist. It was an animal that did not exist in this dimension. The aliens made that up. But yeah, the aliens like totally like, okay, let's see here, like made it up. Okay, yeah, so okay, where was I at? Yeah, so basically, okay, and they were trying to tell me, hey, this animal right here needs to be adopted, and the name of the oh yeah, and they told me that it was a reptile, and they said the name of the animal, and I wish I remembered it, but I don't remember. It was a very odd name, and the animal, and I was like, that's not a reptile. Anyway, the animal looked like a cross between like a fox and a groundhog, and like a dog or something. It looked really weird looking, and it was about as big as a smallish, medium-sized dog. And they were trying to tell me, oh, this animal needs to be adopted, and it's a reptile. And they told me the name of it. They told me the species. but it did not exist in this dimension, and I wish I could remember that. And like I say, I forgot the name. I looked up at the grocery store and it had this weird name like Millie's or something like that, Millys, and that grocery store doesn't exist. And I wish I remember the freaking name that the aliens made up. But yeah, but to the left, there was at least 5 cages, and to the left, like I say, it had an odd tortoise-looking turtle in it. But they wanted me to adopt the other reptile, but it wasn't a reptile. It was like a dog. So that was kind of funny. And then I started asking, how do I get home? How do I get out of Branson and go home? And then they were trying to tell me, go down here, go down on like 71 East or something like that. And then, okay, so then okay, so here's the weird part. Here's the fun part and the scary part. Okay, so I basically get into my car, but that wasn't part of the scenario. Then I start driving along, and guess what? It's dark time. Because like you said, the scenario started at like 8 p.m. apparently. Because like I say, by 9 p.m., it was already dark. And the grocery store was closed. And so, okay, here's the funny part. Okay, so I get on the road they told me to get on, which was like 71 East. I get on the road, and I don't remember actually seeing the inside of the car or anything like that. But I was like driving along, I was, driving along, and I go to the right, and I go down a dirt road. I go down a dirt road, and it's very dark and very scary, and I was going pretty fast, and then all of a sudden, it started getting more narrow and narrow and narrow and narrow, and it was dark time. And then all of a sudden, and it was woodsy. It started like at first it wasn't real woodsy over to the left and to the right as far as I remember, but it was a dirt road, and it started getting more narrow and narrow and narrow. And then all of a sudden, I come to a standstill, and it's all in this like woodsy area. I'm in this woodsy area. And you would not believe what I saw. Okay, there was this, like I say, I was going pretty fast, but it was kind of like the aliens told me I was in a car, but I don't actually remember seeing my car and stuff, and I was just like zipping along, kind of like astral traveling, but I wasn't really astral traveling. I was, sort of, but I was like in a vehicle. Or at least that's what but I was traveling. And, low to the ground in the vehicle, but I don't remember seeing the vehicle. And like I said, I was going pretty fast. Okay, see, did I already tell you that? I got lost. That's why I went to the right, and I went down the dirt road, and like I say, I was lost. That's why, I went down the dirt road, because I was lost. And, I made the wrong turn. And like I said, I was going pretty, decent speed, pretty fast. And all of a sudden, like the road just kept getting narrow and narrow and narrow, and then boom, I get stuck in the woods, and there's, a bunch of trees all around, and it's the woods. And I see about 20, I don't know, maybe not 20, maybe like 15 or 8, may have been 20, about 15 to 20 little creature looking things. They were not, they weren't human. Well, I don't know. I mean, they weren't humans. They were like short, and they were like kind of low to the ground. They were short, and they were kind of like humped back. But when I saw them, I was scared. Like, I didn't sense that they were nice people or beings, whatever they are. But this was really weird. Like, when I looked at their faces and stuff, they had like, you have like the back of your head, the front of your head, and the 2 sides of your head. They had 3 faces. Like, each one of them had like 3 weird looking faces, but they didn't look human. They looked very odd. They looked mostly human than like an alien or something, but they weren't human. And they had like 3 faces. Each one of them had like 3 faces, and they were very short and stubby, and like I say, very low to the ground. And they were just kind of like hunkered over, like walking around, kind of bebopping around, hunkered over, I guess like gorillas kind of walk like that, don't they? Yeah, kind of like a gorilla or whatever. But I was kind of scared, because I didn't think they were, safe people to be, or whatever, beings to be around. But that part was like so weird, and I'm wondering if maybe the aliens created that, maybe because when I was watching Game of Thrones, they had all those scenes, which was so stupid. Some of those scenes is like, hurry up and get over with. They're like so freaking annoying. like they kept having those scenes in the Game of Thrones about the many faces. And see, that's where the aliens got that idea. So I had that in my brain. They picked that out of my brain, the many faces. The many faces of whatever. It's such a stupid scene. So that's where the aliens, I think, created these creatures. Because like I say, each one of them had like 3 faces. And like I say, they didn't quite look human either. But it was weird. And like I say, it was really eerie feeling. You know what I'm saying? It was a very eerie feeling when I got all of a sudden stuck in the woods and I see all these creatures. But they didn't try to come at me and kill me or anything. Okay, so... But this whole scenario lasted, I mean, it lasted several hours, but... in non-3D time, but... well, you know, it's... like, I could talk about it in like 30 minutes or whatever. But, yeah, I mean, it's lasted a lot longer than what I'm talking about. Okay, so anyway, so then all of a sudden another scene comes into the scene, and I'm with this ex-person that I used to know. Her name was Cindy, and she was like a psycho. And she comes into the scene, and all of a sudden I'm riding with her. And I'm going, well, I guess because the aliens was like, okay, I'm going to program it. Well, she gets lost and doesn't make it to her town. So let's throw in this other scene. They just go into my brain and pick all these details. Okay, so she was, you know, to the left of me because she was driving, and I was in the passenger seat. Damn it, I know I'm forgetting some shit. But anyway, we were going, this is kind of funny because, oh, I know why they put that in here, because Cindy actually had these cabins down by Bullshow's Lake, which is basically Branson, and in real life, I know she probably retired and moved down there, and because she smokes dope all day. But in the scenario, this is funny, the aliens made her live, she actually lived, she retired, she told me, you know, in the scenario that she retired, and now she lives in Neosho. Neosho, and I'm, you know, I'm familiar with Neosho, you know, because I've driven by there before or whatever, and my Uncle David used to live there a long time ago. But she lived in Neosho now, and she even told me verbally, you know, she's like, oh, I live in Neosho now. And that's where we were heading. We were heading towards Neosho in the same direction. And, but we never did get to her house. Basically, it was, this was the last part of the scenario when I was in her car or Jeep, whatever it was. And she said that she wrote me, this is all into the scenario. She said that she wrote me like back in March. And I said, well, because of coronavirus, you know, I didn't get my mail till today. And well, I said I got it like a couple days ago, but I didn't read it till like today or whatever. And like she wrote me this letter. And then, because like I, you know, in the scenario, I was trying to tell her, like, even though she maybe wrote me in March, I didn't receive it till like 5 months later. And, well, you know, because the aliens, they go by any kind of thought in your head, you know, like, well, you know, some people may get mad if you email them like many months later or whatever. Because I know I've done that before, so the aliens picked that from my brain. But I looked down at the letter. No, the aliens didn't actually make me read the letter she wrote me. But I literally looked down at the envelope on my lap, and this is all into the scenario, and I saw the return address. And it said Neosho. I actually saw the word and everything, Neosho. And that was on the back of the letter. And I know why the aliens picked that from my brain, because I just got a letter from my Aunt Elaine, and I flipped it over, and she had the return address on the back instead of the front. And so the small letter that Cindy sent me, I flipped it over, and it said Neosho, Missouri. Neosho and then M-O, that's what it said. So that part was kind of cool, and then we were talking, and then basically I was going to her house, but she, I mean, like in the scenario, we never did actually get to the house, and that was actually the end of the scenario. But like I say, this whole scenario lasted a long time, and it was just such a blast. I mean, when you're in these scenarios, and it feels like you're in a different dimension, and then when you wake up, like all day long, it could still feel like that. Like you could still feel the feeling of that lucid dream, and it's such a blast of that energy and stuff. Oh, and I did a couple weeks ago. I had two consecutive like sexual scenarios again. It was fun, like dating scenarios or whatever. Well, like romance scenarios. That was fun. I'd have to rack my brain too. Oh no, I do. Oh no, one of them was very vivid too. They both were very vivid, but they were just like romantic, sexual type of scenarios. But yeah, one of them was pretty damn. Yeah, I mean, like they both were very, very vivid, and one of them started off. I was at started off in the bedroom of my parents' house in the front bedroom, and the aliens, the aliens, kind of, they sometimes they can blend two people together, and anyway, it was this person I see all the time that goes up to Starbucks, and anyway, so the aliens put that person in the scenario, and it was like so cool. But one part of the scenario, this person had longer hair, and then a few minutes later, it was like shorter hair. So that was kind of cool. Why the aliens do that or whatever. But that was cool. And then that second day, I had another. And that one I can't even remember at the moment. I'd have to rack my brain. But such a blast, man. When I go to bed at night, but I can't. I got to make sure I don't get corn in my system, corn or rice. Or wheat. Well, I know I don't ever get wheat in my system, but I've been getting some corn in my system, and it makes me react, and then I get insomnia all night. But I've been doing good. I know I've been getting some corn in my system from the baking soda, because I know that baking soda is tainted with cornstarch. And now all of a sudden I stopped using it, and now I'm not reacting when I go to bed or whatever. So I stopped using it, because I know they're putting cornstarch in it, even though they're not putting it on the label. And, but hopefully I'm not allergic to derivatives. Cornstarch isn't really a derivative, I don't think. It's hardcore corn. But I don't know, but I don't think I'm allergic to some of the derivatives, but I want to try to wait to see if I can get tested first before I eat some of the corn derivatives. But I know I'm having a problem with corn, rice. My immune system is responding, not in a good way to corn, rice, and wheat. But I'm going to the doctor on Tuesday, and I'm going to have them give me the blood test for the food allergy test. But yeah, man, I've been getting such awesome lucid dreams, and I had an awesome one yesterday, too. But yeah, this stupid thing, I don't know what the deal is. It like came unglued or something. I'm going to put some of that caulking stuff in there and see if that'll help. Thanks for listening. Oh, and the reason why the aliens created the scenario where, like, my sister was banished or whatever from the family was because, like, in real life, I don't know, like, my mom said something rude to my sister. My sister went off on her in real life a few weeks ago. And, well, they turned on each other, like, all demonically. But I know they'll make up, but they've turned on each other demonically a few weeks ago when when my mom was at my sister's house. And so that's where the aliens, and that was in real life. So that's where the aliens got the idea in my scenario to banish, or that's why my mom in the scenario banished my sister from this town. Anyway, yeah, so I just want to say that. Thanks for listening.